Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game House's Power Rankings for the LCS, and I'm excited to go through, where I'm seeing all these teams right now. It's been a very not entirely predictable split, but things are starting to happen the way that I kind of was hoping that they would, or not even hoping, thought they might at the beginning of the split. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Immortals are coming in this week at number 10. They have now lost 7 straight games, and I don't know where that slide is necessarily going to stop. It could theoretically stop with their first game of the upcoming week, week 4 against TSM, but I currently have TSM winning that game. We'll have to see. I'll explain why. I'm relatively confident they will, but it's just, I think it's time to officially call Kenvi, I hate saying it, but a bust. And just in the sense that I think he's got mechanical skills. I do think that he's a strong player, but he just cannot seemingly put it all together on stage. It's not entirely his fault. I don't know that Immortals have necessarily given him the tools necessary to, be the player that we all hoped he would be. But it is sad to say, I just don't think this team is very good. And if they don't tear things down at the end of the split, should they stay? Again, as I say here, I don't. This is purely speculation. I do think more changes are coming to the LCS. My guess would be Immortals are one of them, but we'll have to see. Regardless, they're number 10 right now. At number 9, it's TSM, and I don't think putting them 5th last week was a mistake, and I don't think that they are actually in ninth. But because of the decision to put Ruby in over Insanity, they are currently in ninth place. Like, they are, at least in my power rankings, because with Ruby, they're just not as good of a team. With Insanity, they're better, and they officially have announced that Insanity will be starting, or maybe not officially. LCS Eevee, has stated that Insanity is probably going to play. Dunk has said that Insanity is going to play. I think this team just looks better with him. I think he kind of fits in that puzzle piece a little bit better than Ruby does. And just being even a little bit better, for the team, maybe not necessarily mechanically, but at least for the way that the team plays is important. So I have TSM ninth, but do understand that I think that Insanity coming back may be the spark that they need, even as early as this week, to start pushing back up the rankings. Coming in at number 8 is probably my most disappointing team so far this year, or at least the split, is NRG. They have not looked very good at all. They just don't seem to have anybody who can make that big play to help them win a game in a team fight or in a skirmish or in lane. Wherever it's at, in the 3 major battle phases, I guess you could call it, of League of Legends, they don't have somebody who makes that play. FBI is either leading or top 3. I think he's top 3. I think he's 3rd specifically in kills for 80 carries. And he's played fine, but Contracts, while technically having a better year, isn't making as many plays necessarily. Palafox has kind of come down, and Dokla's been one of the worst top laners in the LCS so far this split. I don't think this team is bad. I really genuinely think they're pretty good, and I like picking them to win in a lot of their games, but they aren't doing it right now. They're not making that play, so they're having to sit down here in 8th. At 7, it's Dignitas. Dignitas fans, just, I get it. You want to kill me right now. I continuously am putting this team there. I don't know. They're 5-4, and it feels like they're 5-4 by accident. I don't know. Rich has had good games and bad games. He's still dying the second most in the LCS. And top laners, it feels like he gets Cassante and he plays pretty well. It feels like on everything else he's fine, if not great. Not great. He's just fine at best. And I don't know. Tomos had some good games here. Jensen's had some good games. Santorin has looked better at times. Diamond has occasionally good games. It feels like they have a good game when they need to, and they all kind of do it all at the same time. That is called being a team, right? But, I don't know. I just don't get it. This week is going to be their challenging week. They've got EG, C9, and FlyQuest. I would argue some of the top teams in the LCS for sure. So if they can find a way to go 2-1 or by some miracle 3-0 in this week, I will no longer doubt them. They can rise right up my power rankings. You can call me out on it here and let me know. Let me know in the comment section below if I am just being a Dignitas hater, because I might be. All right, heading on to number 6, I got 100 Thieves. They're hanging in there. they are hanging in there. And 2 wins with Quid playing well helps a lot. But I still have a lot of questions with this team. They're 4-5 right now, and they have a pretty tough week 4 coming up. So this is another team similar to Dignitas that is going to have to prove it. I know there are 100 Thieves fans out there. David, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hate on you guys, but I do think that a lot of pressure is put on the Doublelift, and it is required of Quid to be better, to consistently be better for them to actually win games, in my opinion. Someday has looked not very good, and Closer has looked pretty average at best as well. I would love to see them change teams at the end of the split. I think it would be healthy for both of them to get out of 100 Thieves, but for right now, we're not talking about that. We're just looking at the team as a whole right now, and they're sitting in 6 for me. Number 5 is Team Liquid. It is really, like, they should be lower because they went 1-2 this week, but their win was against Cloud9. This team is like an enigma, man. They are one of the hardest teams to predict and understand. 1 week they're 3-0, they're crushing everybody. The next week they're 1-2, but they're beating Cloud9, right? Like I just don't get it. You know, they have the talent, but they seemingly cannot always put it together at the same time. When they're playing at their best, they can beat just about anybody. They showed that against Cloud9. But at the same time, none of their players are consistent. And I do mean none of them. I love Core JJ as much as anybody else, but Core JJ Truthers, you guys got to understand, he is not the super consistent, always near the top support that he once was. He is still a very good support, but consistency is not in this team's repertoire, it seems like, and I'm very worried about them moving forward. Number 4 is FlyQuest. Yeah, they have jumped from like 2nd to 8th to 10th to 4th. They're all over the place, but they finally won games and they looked good doing it. They went 3-0. They're 3-6 now. I think there's not a team in the bottom half that they can't beat right now. I think all 3 teams above them will have to see, you know, they've got to make a run. They have to. Like, they basically cannot lose another game this split if they even want a chance to be anywhere near where I have them in this power rankings in the actual standings. So I believe that this team can be good. I think they've got to consistently prove it. And, you know, listen, if you're scaling into the playoffs and you suck at the beginning, who cares? Because all they care about is making worlds and winning a championship. If this team can just keep getting better week by week, they have a chance to do that. Golden Guardians, they are consistent, man. Like I say in this article, they are just humming along. They're beating who they need to beat. They are consistently getting better. Stixay is having, I think, an even better split than he did last split, and I think he's actually playing better than he did in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he's leading 80 carries and kills. He's not dying a lot. Like, when Stixay is playing well, this Golden Guardians team is terrifying, because I said it on an episode of Talking TSM, like, you would think, hey, you focus on Stixay, you him out of the game maybe because he's been playing so well. Well, then you just have to ask Licorice, River, or Gory to carry, I guess. Oh, wait, all 3 of them can do it, and Licorice is also having his best split that he's had in years? This team is really scary. I think even any of the top four teams, even 5 teams, like FlyQuest, Evil Geniuses, Cloud9, I would not want to run up against this Golden Guardians team when they're hitting on all cylinders, because I just don't know if you beat them. Right now, they're at 3rd. But I wouldn't be surprised to move them up into the top 2 by the end of this week. Number 2, we got Evil Geniuses. Guys, they're just good. It is how it is. You know, they weren't able to take down Cloud9. Fine. Maybe they're not there yet. Unforgiven is playing very, very well. Armeo is playing very, very well. JoJo is playing out of his mind. He is still near the top for my MVP right now. I just think he's truly being that most valuable player, right? Not just the player that's playing the best on the best team. I hate that crap. That's why a lot of my rankings and stuff are different than a lot of other people's. What I see JoJo doing is what I expect a true most valuable player. His team would not be here without him. Period. They're playing well. Revenge is having his best split. Awesome. Again, Unforgiven is playing really, really well. Ayla is kind of being like, hey, I'm a top 3 support no matter what team I'm on. I don't think that's completely out of the realm to talk about, at least. And like I said, Armeo's having easily his best split of his career. But guess what? It all surrounds freaking JoJo, man. Jamie Tart, JoJo. Jamie Charts Season 3 specifically. Bro, put them in there in the same category. It's just time. Lock it in. I'm going to say it every week probably, but we're doing it. Last one here is Cloud9. Obviously, they're number one. Yes, they lost to Team Liquid. They got stomped. It didn't look good. Does it really matter? No. They're